Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and back at it again, folks. Welcome to the Wrestling for Life Network. We bring you our WWE Survivor Series War Games live from Vancouver, BC preview and prediction show. We're going to dive into it and a whole bunch of other stuff here tonight. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about what's going to happen, what could happen, and everything else in between. Make sure you get in that chat, click all those buttons, but don't forget to strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good, and let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live and back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is our Survivor Series preview and predictions. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there celebrating today. Even if you're not, be thankful for something. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Me and these two pretty faces got you for the next little bit as we dive into this pay-per-view, this PLE, if you will. And it's going to be a fun one here tonight. So get in the chat. Let us know your opinion. We will throw some polls up as well as we go along, but I will take a second to remind everyone out there, I am Mr. Every Night, KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. That is the chapeau that runs the show, Mr. Anthony, and that is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its brothers from my brothers from my other mothers, the sweet Tony Rings, Ringsider Anthony, the Every Night Delight, KJ White, I'm Big Nick, and yes, I'm in a tryptophan haze if you couldn't tell already, because happy Thanksgiving.
It's going to be a fun one here tonight, folks. Even on the holidays, we're here live with everybody. So, yeah, hope you two gentlemen are feeling well with the festivities today.
Yeah, trying to recover. My family doesn't do like the traditional Thanksgiving turkey and stuff like that. We do that actually for Christmas, but we went to this restaurant. It's called Iron Age. It's a Korean barbecue place, and they like you cook the food yourself in front of you. And yeah, I ate too much, so I'm a bit tired.
Yeah. Pay people to go to their place to cook food for yourself.
Isn't
that the whole part of why you pay them? Is for them to cook the food? You don't have to.
What?
I didn't know I had a shift tonight. Did not call out.
Let me get my apron on.
Where's my tip jar?
Well, and Nick, you're doing well.
I've been on a 2-day bender of Thanksgiving as me and the missus have been off for 2 days straight. So it's literally been in food coma palooza out here.
Food and taxes at the Nick house.
Yeah, 100%. We got to get them in early. April 15th comes up soon.
Thankful, blessed. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here for more than just turkey talk as we will dive into Survivor Series here tonight. We're going to touch a little bit on Turning Point as well, which will be live tomorrow. We will be keeping an eye on it as part of our coverage with SmackDown and Rampage. So lots going on as always. Of course, Saturday we will be here live at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. So dinner time with the dudes. Bring your feasts, your food, your famine, everything in between. Bring it all. And we're going to have a fun one going through this PLE this weekend. But any thoughts on Survivor Series we want to touch on before we get into the actual prediction?
No like wild thoughts about Survivor Series. I know it's already out there, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know who it is. I am interested to see who is the replacement for Jade Cargill. And then I have this, and I think a lot of people have talked about it, but maybe Paul Heyman turning on Roman Reigns. I know both teams, the Bloodline 2.0 and OG Bloodline, they share the color red and black, but the way Paul Heyman was dressed last Friday was, to me, leaning more towards Solo side. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens when it comes to that match at Survivor Series.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just excited for that match specifically. I think this has been literally since WrestleMania 40 till now has been all building to this point. So we're reaching, it may not be the 8th, 9th, 7th, whatever inning we're in with the Bloodline storyline, but we're very much reaching a crescendo point here, I think. And then we're going to build to the next chapter.
Yeah. for sure. And again, with WWE being pretty quiet after Survivor Series all the way into the new year. So, with the exception of Saturday night main event, it will be very interesting to see how much this builds towards Royal Rumble.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is going to have some major implications, or at least some continuations in the Royal Rumble.
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, before we go into Survivor Series, did anyone see that like John Cena is the favorite to win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's his last one in, so of course he's the only one announced to be in it too so far. So he's the early odds-on favorite when you're the only one in it.
That helps. But like I said to Nick last week, let him be in the Royal Rumble, let him get down to the final 2, final 3, and then you take one of your heels, one of your good up-and-coming heels, even a guy like a Braun Breaker, and have him chuck Cena over the top rope. Woo! Let's go. Let's go.
Do we think Cena's going to break Flair's record? Yeah. Record, I say in quotations.
I think so. I don't think it'll be any length to his reign, but I think they'll just give it to him to break the Ric Flair record.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think so too. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Jason. Happy Thanksgiving, KJ, Big Nick, and Anthony. I hope y'all had an amazing day today. If y'all had dinner today, I hope it was a great one. See y'all at 8 p.m. Good to see you, JPC, C Money, Tony, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Tony, almost missed you. Adam Colton. We got a bunch of names here. Usually I don't click on them, but there's a lot of happy Thanksgiving, so I feel like I should say happy.
Well, since someone mentioned dinner, is Thanksgiving, like outside of Christmas, the only holiday to where it's acceptable that dinner starts at like pre-noon and everything? That dinner starts at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know why we have to eat so early in the day.
Fubo.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But
it's to sleep off the coma so you can go and get seconds and thirds.
Yeah, probably.
True.
Andy's in the house. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Alex, good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Again, Brandon saying the same thing. 1, 2, 3, kid, Damien. Appreciate all the love, man. Like, I mean, it's really cool doing this and seeing people pop up and wish us happy holidays. And again, I hope everyone out there is happy, healthy, and safe. Nick had to scrub the cranberry sauce out of the beer. That's just saving it for later, my guys. Saving it.
Saver. That's the reason there's a name.
I knew that food was there. I was saving
it. Right.
It's been a while since I've been here. Good to see you, Bobby. Welcome back. Randy, did you enjoy Dynamite? Oh, it was a barn burner. I'm still on the edge of my seat. You're famine. No prediction for TNA pay-per-view tomorrow. Robert, we are going to do that after Survivor Series. Who else did I got? Chris, Joe, thank you. Bonkers, Trey. All right, the list is nice and long. Wrestling Crowd, Byron, Trey. Anybody else out there that we didn't click on or say happy Thanksgiving to? Happy Thanksgiving. Kind of the kickoff of the holiday season officially. Tomorrow's the run out and pretend you're shopping, but actually try and kill people day, right?
Right.
Yeah. Black Friday, Bob Day. Well, it's surprising. It doesn't seem that crazy anymore. It's Cyber Mondays now, the craze.
Right. I did Black Friday shopping one year outside of online. I saw a man's TV get stolen out of his cart coming from Target. Never done it again. So I've had my taste.
Yeah, we get a lot of videos of y'all just going buck wild.
Yeah, I always work Black Friday, so I'd always just do, the Friday after next thing of top flight security in the world, Craig.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, gentlemen, shall we dance with the card? The first match that at least I believe the first match we're going to get on Saturday evening will be the Women's War Games match. What are our thoughts?
Well, spoiler alert, Anthony, in case you didn't already know, because they let us know on Monday, Bayley is the one replacing Bianca or Jade Cargill. So Bayley came out, helped get Bianca Belair the win over Nia Jax. So the team babyface has the advantage going into this match.
So that was official that Bayley is the second?
Yes,
I mean, because I saw the ending and they just didn't announce that she was replacement.
Happen till tomorrow. And we are
sorry.
We are in spoiler-free zone.
It's
Like I
cool.
said,
It's cool.
Tryptophan
I
Dave.
assumed it was Bailey, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't go that far. But
No, so yeah, now so Bailey is what it is. Stepping in again, Team Babyface don't get along. Bianca's got issues. Jade's been taken out, but the heels got their own issues. Tiffany's got the money in the bank still. We talked a lot about the build for this being kind of wonky and just kind of shoved at us last minute. But if nothing else, it got interesting really fast, and the match itself should be really good.
yeah, it did get interesting fairly quickly. I have to say over the past like 2 weeks, like I've gotten a little bit more interested in the war games. I just feel like the women's war games matches on the main roster in the past, like you can really, I remember making a TikTok video last year of like breaking down the entirety of that feud and how we got to war games, right? Because they had been feuding for months. I think it was Damage Control and Team Bianca, like it was, they have been feuding for months. And it's like here, you're like, well, Nia Jax has issues with this person, and then Liv Morgan has issues with this person, but no one has issues together. So let's just make a match. That's kind of how it feels, right? But outside of the storyline, the match is going to kill. I feel like the past 2 years, the women's war games matches have been absolutely great, and I feel no less here. I just wish there was a better story where you can kind of break it down to where you could see which team could take the victory here.
Yeah, in the last minute kind of, I mean, now we've added the mystery of who did what to Jade and when and where and why. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
It's very much a building blocks feud of it's all just connecting feuds into other feuds. Like honestly, Crown Jewel, I think it played the biggest part in setting this up somehow, some way, because of them all interacting a little bit. Yeah, to me, I'm excited to see EO jump off of stuff. I'm sure that this is going to continue some feuds beyond this, but I don't. This almost could have, should have, would have been better as just a traditional Survivor Series match.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's an interesting one, but I mean, here we are. We're going to go into the cage, and I mean, if nothing else, it should be fun as hell. I mean, we really do. I mean, I think that's kind of where we're stuck on. Quick question: who comes out first for both teams? First and last?
Oh, last is Rhea, especially because they've got the advantage, so she'd be probably the last one in the match, which probably means
I agree.
Liv will be second to last. First, pick whoever amongst the rest. I guess I don't know.
I guess first for Bianca's team or Rhea's team, easily it's gonna be Naomi. I feel like they always put Naomi out there first whenever they kind of do things. Liv Morgan, I could see it being Tiffany and Naomi, you know, being the first two, or maybe Naomi and Candice LeRae. Then the last folks, I feel like it's gonna be Rhea. Potentially, it could be a toss-up between Rhea and Bianca, and then on the other side, I feel like it could be Nia Jax or Liv Morgan.
Ooh, Nia Jax might come out last, like the last for the heel team. That's a good shout. And yeah, I think Rhea Ripley comes in at the very end, especially with what she's dealing with.
Phantom of the Opera, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Nia's not a bad shout for her coming out last, especially you keep her from not working a ton of the match, respectfully. But yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, I kind of understand what you mean by there. Like she can be fresh and then kind of pull off her big moves and big attacks, you know, close to when the actual bell rings for the match. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, clean house too, right?
Yeah, you have your big heavy that comes in and she's just the wrecking ball. I said it. But yes, you have her come out and she's Samoan dropping everybody. She's bonsaiing Bailey and Bianca and all of that.
So the question becomes, who attacked Jade?
I'm really starting to lean towards Naomi. Only because of how she reacted on Monday Night Raw. She was like, more importantly, we have to find, you know, another person to be on our team. And it was like she just shrugged that off her shoulders and moved on. So I'm leaning towards Naomi, and Naomi needs a refresh in her character. We haven't seen her heel since 2015, and some of her heel run was actually pretty good. So it's been about 9 years. So
Yep.
maybe it's time for a refresh and see what she can do now.
Right. Now, this was something you were on.
I was going to say, that's literally, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's exactly where I'm at with this. Because Bianca, I feel like they've teased that. We've had a little bit of the back and forth. They kind of will, they won't they. I think KJ, you brought up even Bailey, potentially, even if she's not in the team, she's around the team, what have you, if she was at fault for it. But I think it makes perfect sense. Naomi, for this is her real coming out moment of, I'm tired of being Michelle and Destiny's Child out here. I'm tired. It's my turn to be Beyonce.
Right. Yeah, I feel like this is a good chance for them to put her into another gear. I think she has the opportunity to kind of, like, we all know her. She's got fanfare. She's not disliked, but she doesn't feel as loved as she could be. So giving her something kind of new, even if it is going straight heel. Originally, I thought maybe Bailey actually did do this, and she's going to kind of drift back into being more heelish. But Naomi feels like the best fit for this prime. Like, I'm convinced, and a part of it was you convincing me.
Right. No, but no one's thinking. I see some people saying no Charlotte, no Alexa, no Spooky Dookie Choo, no none of that.
Well, somebody did ask about Charlotte. Sorry, Anthony.
I could really see Charlotte being one of them. Like, maybe she could have attacked Jade Cargill. I always go back to their first like face-to-face interaction, and you could tell it was like mutual respect there, but they also wanted to get in that ring and tear each other's heads off. Charlotte being one of Jade Cargill's biggest matches in her career, and you can potentially put that at a WrestleMania, book it. If it's done right, book it. So I wouldn't oppose Charlotte, being that person.
But do we not see that till next WrestleMania? If Jade's legitimately, quote unquote, out injured, and this was a way to write her off and everything, do we have it with the new debuting Charlotte and everything, returning Charlotte, and then we have to put that feud on the back burner? I think Jade might be, she can be the causation between, say, Bianca and Naomi, and then when she comes back, it's a whole new thing, all of that.
Any chance it was Bianca? Does it fit any way, shape, or form? Could Bianca be like, I'm sick of carrying you and you getting all the spotlight?
She's the most obvious suspect, and she's skating free on this. We're all thinking who done it, and she's the most obvious one.
Simpson. I think she could be Maggie Simpson.
Well, Maggie wasn't obvious. Bianca might as well be out there with a wrench and everything, with how much they've sat there and had the back and forth. Like, did anyone catch the fucking who owned the vehicle that she got shoved into or anything that was just so happy to be perfectly placed for the real glass?
Right.
Right.
There. Anthony leaning towards Naomi. Shocker. Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Who takes the W, boys?
Team Liv.
I
thought it would have been Team Babyface until Team Babyface got the advantage.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think Liv Morgan's team kind of needs this. So yeah, Liv Morgan takes the victory. Liv Morgan and her team.
All right, I'm gonna buck the system, and I'm gonna say Team Babyface takes the dub. I think there's gonna be a twist in here somewhere, but I think ultimately Rhea Ripley kind of gets the win and leads her towards getting her title back, getting the next match. Like, it's gonna be her reason to get a return match. I got the pin at War Games. Now I want to fight you at Saturday Night Main Event or Rumble, but I think we're due.
Fair enough. Do you think Rhea could win the Rumble and that's how she gets her shot back?
That'd be interesting.
I don't think that. Is there a strong favorite to win the Rumble for the women's side right now? I feel like everybody that's got a title is kind of already tied into something, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, Bianca's always a favorite, but I don't see it at this time. Becky, Charlotte, if they're back, it'd be interesting. Alexa.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't, honestly, and this is not a slight to Nia Jax because I really like her, but I didn't think Nia Jax would still be champion going into Survivor Series. I wasn't expecting her reign to, and I know it just really started at the beginning of August, but I didn't really think it would lead to the end of the year. So my theories of who could win the Royal Rumble are kind of out the question, because I feel like the winner of the Royal Rumble will be would be someone from SmackDown and not from Raw. And so I don't know at this point like who could potentially be the winner if Tiffany Stratton is not championed by the Royal Rumble.
Now someone asked this and I saved it for the end. Is there a chance that there's a cash in? I mean, if there's ever going to be a time where Nia is vulnerable, plus there's two champions in that ring at the same time, could Tiff take an opportunity and try and pin one of those two?
Bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy, especially when they're both on your side.
Yeah, but she's devilish.
Yeah, I still think though it's setting up more for Tiffany to end up being babyface. They've still got to work on that more than anything, of these kind of little false cash-ins. They're cute, they're funny, all of that, but they don't develop anything for Tiffany as a character. If you're going to pivot her, you've got to work on her being used and abused and everything by Nia and make her feel sympathetic. Right now, she just feels like she's doing what a heel would do, paired with another heel of who can stab who in the back first.
So you don't think that's what they've done over the last little while here since?
I think they've pardon my French, but they've pussyfooted around it a little bit and everything. They tease it, they go with it, and then they go back away from it, and they go all the way around with it. Crown Jewel has fucked it up a little bit. And also, doesn't Io have a shot at Liv earned after this and everything as well?
That is
true. Won the Battle Royal.
That's true. Yeah.
That is true. I totally forgot about Io winning the Battle Royal.
Don't worry, I think they did too.
It was the gobbledygooker that injured Jade. We have our doubts, but 57% of the chat is taking Team Liv.
Again, I think it's the who has the advantage going into the match that you halfway start to tip your hand a little bit just from a storytelling aspect. It's hard to book a team that's got the advantage going into the match if they come out the victor, especially when the heels aren't super strong.
Yeah, and my concern is there's a turn or there's a moment in this where, does somebody just get fed up and kind of reveal kind of who hit Jade? Is it Bianca or somebody else in this match that just flips a switch mid-match? The baby faces could be in a pickle.
Naomi hit a drive-by on Bianca and everything like that, and then just walk out of the cage and say, have at it.
Right? Or, does someone pull a Dakota Kai, like Naomi goes to leave and then turns back around and just thumps the shit on Bianca, leaves her in the cage?
Ties her up by her braid in the little mini shark cage and everything. Wham, wham, wham,
Which would be very interesting if, I don't know if you guys seen the rumors of them stripping them of the titles if Jade is really injured. Yeah. That would be really interesting how you could really turn this into a Naomi Bianca feud heading into WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, or whatever you want to say there, if they have a big payoff match. That would be interesting.
I'd be down for it.
Yeah, again, it wasn't the greatest build, and it did feel a little forced this year with the women. But I will say, like in just literally like 2, maybe 3 episodes, they quickly kind of got me. Like, we're talking about a lot of possibilities here, right? Like even the issues with Liv and the other members of her team. It's all interesting. So they've done a good job of going. I kind of want to see it. I'm kind of curious enough now, and I think it's going to be a hell of a match.
Well, it's a War Games match. We always want to see something like that, but it's a lot of individual intertwined stories just all kind of dumped into a bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the second match on the docket is Mr. LA Knight, or I'm assuming, I'm just guessing, but LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura for the US title. Shinsuke is back.
Darth Shin, 100%.
Yeah,
Shinsuke Skywalker, 100%. I'm actually taking him to win this match. I'll cut right to the chase of this. I'm taking him to win. I think they'll run this match back either maybe Saturday Night Main Event or at least the Royal Rumble. This US division kind of needs, I think, a little bit of transition, a little bit of movement and everything. So I'm taking Shinsuke.
I feel like if you want to shock the WWE universe, you give it to Shinsuke.
Yeah.
He's been back, 3 weeks tops, I think.
Yep.
Attacked LA Knight. I think you give it to Shinsuke here. LA Knight is so over. Like the pops that this man still gets is insane. You take that pop away by sucking the momentum out of the crowd by giving it to Shinsuke. I'm here for it. I'm with you, Nick. Shinsuke takes the title at Survivor Series.
I'm with both of you on this one, and I like it. From a storytelling standpoint, it's way more interesting. Like you said, LA Knight's over as hell, and I actually like the idea of LA still going after Nakamura and Nakamura playing keep away for a few months. And I don't even care if if he wins a rematch and then Shinsuke beats him again. Keep it going. I think the chase for LA Knight keeps him popular and fresh. And for all the people out there that said Shinsuke's dead in the water and they got nothing for him, well, if he comes back and makes an impact statement, I'm all for it. I like it. I like it. I like the look. Go Shinsuke.
But do you get the people that say that with LA Knight of you give him the US title and then you turn around and you take it away from him, I just want to see this title move around a little bit. We've seen it with the IC belt. Jay won it after Braun had it, and then he dropped it back to Braun and everything. This needs a little bit of momentum, a little bit of shifting of it, and now you can get back to LA versus Andrade. You get Shinsuke versus Carmelo. That division has a whole new ratchet to it.
And it wakes up a little.
Yeah. And I think long championship reigns are great. We had the long IC title reign with Gunther. What was that, like 2 years, 2.5 years? But after the championship is established, like we can move this around a little bit, right? And they've been doing that with the IC title. I think they can do the same thing here with the United States Championship. Give it to Nakamura, let them go at it for a couple of months, maybe build this match to WrestleMania, the big rematch. I don't know. I know WrestleMania seems like a far away, but it's really right around the corner. But you can do some movements with the titles, and I think this is a perfect opportunity because the fanfare for LA Knight is not going to go away anytime soon. The crowd is literally behind him. So take the title off of LA and give it to Shinsuke.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you throw LA into the main event scene if he's not champ, or do you throw him around there? Like, say this isn't Saturday Night main event predictions, but say if KO doesn't win the belts or anything like that, you can throw him versus KO or anything around there. You get him going at, say, a Randy, anything.
Let KO win.
Right.
I'm not saying my opinion on that because I may or may not agree with you, but I'm just saying of throwing him. If LA's not in the US title scene, if he's not US champ, could you pole vault him into the main event scene a little bit? He's a babyface that Cody's got in his back pocket.
I mean, you could in a way, and I think this is where my problem is with at least this portion of the Bloodline story. We know Cody's going to face someone of the Bloodline at WrestleMania. I'm like 99% sure. This is me. I'm about 99% sure that I think
right away
somebody of the Bloodline at WrestleMania, whether it be The Rock or whatever. And this is where I want him to be away from the Bloodline, because you can give this to an LA Knight. You can give this to some of the guys that's been in the mid-card working there, ready to hit that main event scene. And we have Cody surrounded in the Bloodline again, because I technically feel like something's happening with Cody and the Bloodline at WrestleMania.
No, I think it's got to be. I hear voices in my head. They talk to me.
It's been rumored as well.
Could be, but I'll put it this way. I don't think that Cody's going to be involved with the Bloodline come WrestleMania. I think if we get anything with Cody and the Bloodline, it's pre-WrestleMania, and it's probably mostly him versus Dwayne, if anything. I'm glad that they've, I think, finally started to detach him away from that. Like, that's why he's not the fifth member. That's why he's not too much attached to anything going on with that. And I hope they keep it that way.
I would agree with that. Like, it's good. I could be wrong. I mean, but I do agree with you that I think that they keep him trending, whether it's KO or Cody. KO or
Randy.
Thank you. Now the thing about LA Knight pole vaulting into that picture is, I don't know if they'd risk LA Knight turning heelish to go after babyface Cody. I don't know.
But that's why I wonder if you could see if you get a pairing of, say, heel Randy Orton and heel KO, that kind of going into that lead to a babyface Cody and a babyface LA Knight, and you can break those off into two individual feuds, say around WrestleMania time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe. But so we're all going Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the chat went LA Knight, 54% for LA Knight. So again, 2 matches, both are close to that 50-50 split. So they got us guessing a little bit.
I was going to say, we did spend most of the match prediction of we're all picking Shin. All right, let's talk about LA Knight.
Well, I mean, I think the short story for Shinsuke is big fan following. We all kind of like him in some degree. Him coming back and doing something relevant is real cool, real good for business, and I'm happy to see him back. I think if he wins this here, it's an emphatic statement that he's here, he's back. It's not just going to be floating in the middle or gone again. So we'll see.
Right, that would probably be the snowplow going by me if anyone else had a white Thanksgiving instead of a white Christmas like I did. But yes.
Right. I only looked at the one number. I forgot nobody was an option. My bad. So 55% for
nobody's LA. The other 45%.
Yeah, 38 and 5% for nobody. So the fans think we're getting a finish in this one. That's funny. I only looked at the top number. I'm like 55. I can do math. That's pretty close.
Right. Well, I just think it's interesting that normally, traditionally, the IC belt's kind of the workhorse belt and everything like that. Yeah. And the US title is more the guys that are close to the main event, but not the main event title and everything. And that seems to have kind of flipped a little bit. Like you've got Braun, Sheamus, Ludwig, which I'm sure we'll talk about shortly after this with the IC belt. And then we've got Nakamura and LA Knight, 2 kind of more workhorse guys. We've got Andrade, we've got Carmelo. That whole division seems more fast-paced, star rating type of caliber.
Yeah, to an extent, for sure.
Shin has done little for a title push. He just got back. He just got here.
So part of that is, but you got to remember, guys have resumes, Mega. So their past history upon returning, his resume says I fuck with big names, and LA Knight's a big name.
Right.
But shall we move on to? We have new merch. Speaking of War Games, go get your camo War Games apparel. We have it in black, gray, and white, green as well.
We got your urban camo, your suburban camo, your forest camo, your military camo. We got all your camo options. If you're going buck hunting or going, paintball or whatever, we got you covered in all the camos.
Absolutely, folks. So get yours today. But we are moving on to the IC title match. This one's interesting. Triple threat announced last week. How do we feel about it?
Which I thought this match was happening on Raw and not Survivor Series. I have Braun Breaker taking the victory. I think I'm gonna just cut straight to the point. Braun Breaker takes this.
Yeah, I think it kind of has to a bit, and I still think this will be one of the sneaky matches of the night a little bit because all 3 guys can go. Like you said, Anthony, you thought this was on Monday Night Raw. If this was on Raw, this is a main event. Right. I feel, or close to it. Braun wins. I still think it's a great match. I feel like some of these matches have a little obvious choices, but are still going to be good matches.
Yeah. Quality over quantity, I think. That's the method. Right. I mean, one more match might be nice, but we got what we got. Unless they add something last minute, which I doubt. How do you feel about this one, Anthony?
I'm excited for this one. I think all 3 gentlemen have proved themselves time and time again. I really like Kaiser. I would love to see Kaiser kind of hold a title. I don't think it's right now because they're really trying to kind of build Braun Breaker up at this point, but I'm excited for this match. All 3 of these men can wrestle. So this is going to be insane. You got Braun Breaker, who is a powerhouse. can run the ropes and actually move the ring when he runs the ropes. Sheamus is just as tough and strong as any of them out there, and Kaiser is just really good in that ring. So this one could be, if there wasn't a War Games match on this card, this would, I feel like, could be match of the night.
That's a fair take. I agree. Like, this is going to be a fun one. Energy wise, in ring wise, I do think it's going to be another solid win for Braun Breaker to continue his resume. We all love Sheamus. We know what Sheamus can do in the ring. Ludwig is up.
Darkwing Duck.
I like that. But I got Braun Breaker retaining. He just got it back. It'd be weird for him to kind of, keep dropping it. I'm good with him taking this victory.
Yeah, again, this is one that might be match of the night if there was, like Anthony said, if there wasn't War Games involved in this. But this is clearly Braun. I almost want to ask you guys of who would you take to win this if Braun wasn't involved in it. If this was vacant, taking on Sheamus and Ludwig, because this is clearly Braun.
I would change your question if it was Jay still holding the IC title versus the other two of these. I would give it to Kaiser if it was Jay holding the title still.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Did not expect that. No, I thought the odds go up if Jay retains. The name up higher up on the card a bit here.
But I give it to Kaiser before I give it to Sheamus at this time.
What is with this Sheamus hate? Why not give it to Sheamus and everything?
I'm just saying. I mean, Kaiser's killing.
Ludwig is a good right hand, second hand man. Do you think that he might be breaking away from Gunther, or Gunther might be sick of his shit or anything like that?
Not really.
There's a little tension there.
Yeah. But I think there'd be more tension if he was IC champ. I could see Sheamus, doing that. Like, imagine Sheamus won it and I'm going to vacate this so I can have a shot at you, Gunther, type of thing.
Right.
Go old school with it.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a bad look for Braun to drop the belt again now.
Oh, yeah.
Not yet. Too soon.
He just got it back for the second time. So, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Ludwig is not winning it now. His time is coming, says Cherokee George. What did the chat say? The chat's looking at 68% Braun, 24% Sheamus, and only 8% Ludwig. Wow. There you go. Sheamus won that.
There we go. Sheamus got some respect put on his name now.
Happy Thanksgiving, Billy. But again, I think we all agree it's going to be a fun match. We'll see where the IC title goes after Survivor Series. But with that being said, another title match, if we haven't noticed, 3 title matches outside of the War Games, which is pretty nice, as Gunther will defend against Damian Priest.
And I do think that I like that they're going to pretty bookend, the start of the show and the end of the show with the War Games makes the most sense. But it feels like the closer we get towards the last War Games match, the easier these predictions kind of get, because all due respect to Damian, and I think he's doing a great job, fantastic job. I think he's going to continue to do a great job. He is not winning this good match. Not no way, not no how. This is Gunther through and through. Gunther, I don't see dropping this title till Mania. Potentially.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Gunther's holding that title until at least Mania, potentially after, the way they booked that guy. I love Damian Priest, but he had his moments over the summer with the title. This is all Gunther.
Yeah, man. Damian's been good. Damian's been re-energized since losing the belt, which is rare but nice. Great guy, great opponent, great challenger. Gunther's Gunther. He will continue to do what he does. And like both of you, I don't see him dropping that belt anytime soon. Damian getting this win would, I think, shock a lot of people.
I still think it'll be a good match, and it's still 2 really tall guys and everything like that going at it. Byron no, you're good. I can still read it. Byron mentioned The Rock or Drew McIntyre. That makes me think of, could we see a Drew go up around here or anything? Because we just saw CM Punk, who's going to be the 5th member for Team Bloodline. Do we get a Drew McIntyre sighting? I was going to say a shitting of if Goldberg shows up yet. But could Drew show up and Drew be the next challenger for Gunther, or does he maybe get into something with Priest?
I like the idea of Drew and Gunther, to be honest. I wonder if people are going to feel like Drew would have to win that rivalry, but I think I think Drew could keep doing what he's doing, and it works. It would play really well against Gunther.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry,
technically, if you had Drew do this feud with Gunther, it would be, and I'm not opposed to it. TNA does it all the time, but a heel versus a heel. You can lean Drew McIntyre in that baby.
Yeah.
You can lean Drew McIntyre in that baby face kind of role again. I like it. I think to your point that the fans would say Drew McIntyre needs this because he technically lost the feud with CM Punk. So I mean, to me it doesn't matter, but I would love to see that feud.
Yeah, well, and somebody else mentioned the IC belt, but I do agree with both of you of 100% of whatever feud Drew's in next, if and when he comes back and everything like that, he has to win it. He has to go over at the end of it because he put so much into that Punk feud and got made a fool of and everything else and came out on the losing end. You've got to restore that credibility and come back with a win.
Yeah, and I think Drew can do this thing where he just comes out and it acts exactly the way he was with CM Punk, and he doesn't have to do anything else. Just talk in the same manner, the same sarcasm. With Gunther being so opposing and having that demeanor, I think it will still play and it will push Drew kind of more babyface. The fans will start cheering those sarcastic remarks opposed to booing it because they like Punk.
I think if Drew came out at any point in this match, like say if the match is done, Gunther's winning, then all of a sudden you hear Drew's music hit and everything, they're going to cheer for Drew. They're not going to be booing him.
Yeah, you might be right.
No.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that wheels were turning in my head that if you want to keep Drew McIntyre a heel, and he doesn't even touch Gunther as champion. I know there's a lot of thoughts of John Cena potentially being in a world championship at WrestleMania, but what if you pull the trigger on a John Cena versus Drew McIntyre feud? I don't think you've seen them. You have never seen Drew McIntyre in this state face John Cena, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. So you have John Cena, because John Cena likes to call out the bad guys in his career. He'll call them out and tell them who they used to be. And you have John Cena and Drew McIntyre leading up to WrestleMania.
I don't hate it. I don't. And I think that as much as I just said, his sarcasm and his attitude, the same one he had with Punk, would work really well with Gunther. It really digs into Cena. Like if he starts pulling shit on Cena the way he pulled it on Punk, it might have some legs, Anthony.
That would be somebody that could go toe to toe with a guy like John, because that's the thing is Drew guy could instantly hear him coming back with, yeah, I'm not the same as I was and everything, but you have been this whole time. I've changed. I've grown. You stayed who you are this whole time and everything. But again, to me, if you put him with John, he's losing that. This is John, and this is John on a retirement tour and everything. So, and especially no title, no big, like huge main event or anything right now with that. And if you're going to bring back Drew, he's got to get a win. He's got to get his lick back. He's got to get some credibility back. Would
Drew be a favorite for Rumble?
If he's in it, I think he's a solid contender. I think he's definitely in your, top bracket there.
Well, when I said if you take a really good heel and have them throw Cena over, and it kind of ignites from there. Got some legs. But yeah, the chat, I mean, overwhelmingly, Gunther was like 74%, Priest 25%. That math ain't mathin', but I guess somewhere in there was a roundup. But
we'll call Liv. She'll help us math.
But yeah, overwhelmingly a favorite. If Damian is to win this on Saturday, it will shock the world. You'll get a pretty good reaction video out of a lot of people for this one.
Yeah.
Boom. And then last but not least, crazy with these cards. After doing the pay-per-view we just did, it's so insane to do 5 and be like, that's it.
So nice. It's so nice. It feels so nice.
The Bloodline Civil War, the Bloodline War Games. There's so much going on. There's so many moving parts. I don't even know where to begin with this one, guys.
I'm gonna just say this. I've been getting goosebumps all week, just waiting for this intro video package and everything, and just seeing all of this generals gathered in their masses. 100%, my God. This is what we fucking play the game for. This is what I am excited for. Dude, this is fucking cinema.
I picture you doing like the the risky business, sliding across the floor in your undies, but to
100%, my guy. Trust me, I had my wife out here singing singing fucking War Pigs earlier and everything because I was using it for the call outs and everything. It's gotten stuck in her head. I'm playing it that much. I am excited for this shit. God damn. But absolutely, this to me though, this is cinema. This is one of the most most matches I've been excited for WWE since WrestleMania. Like, this to me is apex shit. This is big dog shit to me with this. I'm so fucking excited for this all the way. And we've got the Heyman before and everything versus during it and all that there's still even the outside chance that Seth Rollins realizes I've got all my assholes that everybody I dislike trapped in one cage. I'll just set that bitch on fire and we're out of here. Burn it down for real.
Right.
I feel like if you can put a clear line in between what the women's War Games matches and the men's War Games matches, the men's is storyline. This is going to be storyline heavy throughout this match. The women are just going to kill it with their wrestling ability. Not saying the men are not going to kill it, but I'm just saying if you wanted to put a divide between these matches, this is what it is. I'm excited for this. I don't know who I want to win, honestly. The Bloodline 2.0 picked up technically the first victory at what was it? Crown Jewel, I think it was.
Yes.
I feel like you have to pass it to the Roman side. I feel like it, but you can also use this to build up Solo as the true tribal chief. So it's like, I don't know who to choose here. I just want to choose both and just be surprised at Survivor Series, right? Yeah. So I don't want to go against Roman, but I have to say Bloodline 2.0 might pick up this victory.
I'm with you. I'm going 2.0 all the way. I think there's going to be a lot of story here, but again, it's kind of like we talked about before. If Roman and his crew win War Games, then what?
Right?
Is the story over? Is Roman I think Survivor Series ends with Dwayne Johnson standing next to Solo as the victor of War Games.
You had everything right there except for Victor. I'm fully with you there. To me, I think, granted, I don't think Heyman turns. I think that's too obvious of a red herring. They made it so obvious, and they knew people were going to have the discussion, so we'll give them a reason to talk. Yeah. I think we still end this, Dwayne doing the whole, and all that, and he comes out there and maybe he lays boots to asses on Roman and everything and really establishes himself, as we've talked about this at length at times, of how he's the puppet master to this new bloodline. I don't think Solo was ever the true tribal chief. He was the one to bait Roman into this situation. There's even the whole potential of this could just be a whole trap for the OG bloodline of now you've got them all locked in a cage. I still think OG bloodline wins, but we end with Dwayne and co on top here. Dwayne's coming out at the end. I think OG bloodline gets the win, and then we go into the Dwayne situation.
Yeah, fair enough. My hesitation to pick Roman this time is they won a crown jewel, and the OGs lost.
No, Roman got pinned at Crown
That's
Jewel.
Right. Roman got pinned. So
yeah, so you've been basing your whole prediction on the wrong choice.
No, I still think the 2.0 kind of need it more story-wise. But yeah, no, I completely forgot that Roman was the guy that took the pin. That's what I get for reading the chat.
I could see this literally going from GTS into boom, hit a spear, 1, 2, 3, all like the most epic video of all time, to where Bray calls out Roman hitting the spear and everything while he's getting the pin. But I think we go with that. And like I said, we're walking out, maybe even, do they do the double thing of like Seth comes out, because clearly Punk being involved here is going to set up the Seth thing. So does Seth come out, get involved? I do think no matter what, we're at least getting Dwayne. We need to start setting the groundwork, because I think, again, this is Solo's just the puppet on the string. And this is setting up to Roman versus Dwayne at 41.
I kind of don't want Roman to get the Ula Fala back yet. I don't want him to be victorious in this. And if
but does he even take it at this point? Is it truly a bloodline? Because remember, now everybody's equal. I'm not your, like, well, does he realize I can be the tribal chief without the blah, 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 or what have you?
Jacobs will be the new tribal chief. I don't know about that yet.
Well, and there's some people that think Heyman just hangs out with Punk after this, that he doesn't go back to Roman.
Take me with me.
I still think there's a little bit of animosity with Paul and Roman, only because Roman never came to save him. And the person that actually, in a way, promo-wise, saved Paul Heyman was CM Punk.
Right.
So I feel like there's in the way Paul Heyman looked at Roman on Friday, it was that evil kind of like, I'm pissed at you, but I don't want to tell you kind of look, but I don't know if it's a full turn, right? I feel like there's just some animosity that Roman has to work out with Paul, just like he had to work it out with Jay, just like he had to work it out with Sami Zayn. Not so much Jimmy. I guess they did that behind the scenes when they were both off of television, but like there's still some type of the animosity between them that kind of needs to work out.
I think it's just the best bait on the hook and everything. If you know everybody's going to have that conversation, Heyman just has to have a face. He's not trying to make a face. That's just his face and everything. And everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to try and read the tea leaves as much as they can. Like I saw people when they were leaving on SmackDown and everything of, well, he hugged the Usos and he kind of left in between them and CM Punk, but he didn't really do anything with Roman. So that's where everybody's like, he's abandoning Roman. He could be, and I think no matter what, everything in this has the potential to be a great. Like that's the thing is, I could be wrong on everything that I'm saying. I guess I usually am, but it will still be great the whole way through this. Like this is the match this pay-per-view is built around. This is its pillar, its foundation.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is all we've been talking about. We've been talking about it since like WrestleMania. Like the War Game is going to be crazy, and then when Solo really grabbed the reins and he did what he did to Paul and he did what he did to Cody and kept going forward. We've been eagerly awaiting how they were going to put all this together. And it pretty much came together the way a lot of us expected, but they did it really well. Like it wasn't boring. Like, oh, I knew Sammy was going to join. And CM Punk to me was a great swerve. Like Paul showing up the last minute and being the guy that has enough of a favor from Punk to pull him into the mix when nobody else wanted to help them. It worked. It worked really well. And I think, like you said, I would be shocked if whatever happens in that ring on Saturday, we're like, oh, that was really bad.
Yeah, no, they've 100% of, we've almost, some of the stuff you could say we knew it, but how we got there is still great. This is where we need an hour video package with November Rain playing in the background to sell us on this match.
Man.
Come on, Trips. You're a metal guy. Get Motorhead, Ace of Spades or something like that.
Sami Zayn's a fraud. He's a hero.
Could you see Sammy turning? I've seen people throw out that idea that Sammy's the sleeper agent.
Yeah, but I just don't see why. Like, nobody's going to... Like, I mean, I think it's more likely that a Hikuleo shows up than Sammy turns on the group. I don't see any of these guys really turning on the group. But could there be issues? Like, does Roman step on Punk's toes? Do they kind of not get along? And does that open the door for a very unified 2.0?
If Heyman turns, does he go with Solo or does he go with Dwayne?
I mean, the Dwayne aspect works, and this is why. And I thought about this a lot. If Dwayne, we know Dwayne's usually not a full-time guy.
Right.
So Paul Heyman is the best guy with part-time champions or part-time talent because Paul advocates for them. Well, he's off filming Moana fucking 4. Paul can show up on TV and get the heat, keep the heat going, and stand in front of. But the last time we saw him, he was getting put through a table. So it's
no, I'm right there with you. If that's what he did with Roman for the longest time, so it makes the most perfect sense that if he was there with Dwayne, which now granted he'd also be kind of fucking over CM Punk and all of this too. Everyone wants to forget that, but I don't think he would be with Solo, especially after like I'm gonna take you back after you just put me through powerbomb me through a table and everything. No. So Heyman with Dwayne makes the most sense to me if Heyman turns.
Yeah,
no, I kind of agree there. Yeah,
for sure. The first two guys from each team to go in. Any guess? I'm thinking
Tongaloa for sure.
Right. They got to insulate him.
No, you get that bullshit out the way. I'm not going to remember how much he fucked up at the start of the match if I'm watching Jacob Fatu hit moonsaults off the top of the cage in the end of this match.
I tuck him in when there's two other people in the ring already.
This is it's Thanksgiving. There's a reason when you go the first time through that kitchen and everything, you're grabbing your first plate, you get the bullshit first and everything, so you can just get that shit out the way, so you can say, I had it, I did it, tested it, someone at least took a slice out of that fucking casserole and everything.
Yeah.
Move along.
Right? Well, I mean, again, sometimes you put some shit around the stuff you don't like, like, Brussels sprouts, just mix it with my mashed potatoes. We're good. But Jimmy or Sammy start for the Roman?
I'm confident that Jimmy starts. I think Jimmy starts for Roman. What would be a shocker, though? This would be a shocker since Roman Reigns took the pin at Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns is the first person on his team to come up. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Don't think it's going to happen, but it would be interesting.
And it's his vendetta. So for him to walk into the middle of the ring and be like, I'm going to do this. I'm starting this match. That's interesting.
No, Jimmy starts it. Jimmy's Roman's Jacob. He's out there. I love you, Roman. I love you, Solo.
Ooh.
Now the question is who goes last, especially on Team Roman? Roman, or does it go Punk? Punk's coming off of a strap match, Hell in a Cell match, is all of the 50 some odd years old and everything like that. So that's why I almost ruled him out initially, is because going into another, heavy hitter match when you've got a history of being banged up. Ooh, my guy.
Maybe that's what you do then. Send Roman out first. And then there's no real right. Send Roman out first, Punk goes last, but you explain it as the tribal chief is leading the charge.
But do you think that people you sink the hook in a little bit deeper if Punk goes last, of that Heyman's gonna fuck him over? Heyman's gonna fuck him over because Roman didn't go last. Heyman's gonna fuck him over.
Yeah, maybe.
This is 10 million different ways that you can write this, and they all sound great.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Like you got Bronson. Good start. We haven't talked much about Bronson, by the way. Should be in this family forever.
Honorary Samoan.
Everywhere, dude. The number of posts I've seen of like Jacob and Bronson need to be a tag team. Yes. I
feel like we brought that up, and we've said it so much. Of even once they announced that he was part of their team, he was their fifth member. We're like, checks out, fits out. That's the missing puzzle piece. Like you saw him in the last video package there with the black shirt and the sunglasses and everything. He just looks like he's part of the squad. He's not a guy that they added on. He's just part of the team. Like, that jersey fits you well, sir.
Right. It looks like he belongs. Keyshawn, we did read your super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. But after this, Jacob will be the new tribal chief. People I think it's funny because we talk about this a lot, and we talked about it last night with AEW and people turning and such. The idea that Jacob is on the verge or even close to turning, it's premature. It's not developed. You said it earlier, Nick, with Tiffany and Nia. Like it hasn't, simmer sauteed enough.
Right. And I'm really interested where they're going to go with Jacob come like WrestleMania season. And you threw it out there, and I still want to see that match some way, somehow. Is a Jacob Fatu versus a Kevin Owens. Just sign me the up for that match. That's two bulls locking horns.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, there's gonna be a lot of moments in this match. Like a lot of moments of like everybody stops for a second, like, oh my god, they're face to face. Even Jacob and Punk's first can like.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
I was just thinking Jacob and Punk's first face to face.
He just does like the side eye, like, huh? All right. Well, no, I'm just waiting for Jacob to be like, I love you, Solo. Clang, getting chair shot right over his head or something like that. Like he just steps in the way of something.
Yeah. Heyman turn on Punk. I don't think Heyman's going to turn on Punk. The idea, the fact that he did it, and the fact that he's smart enough to play the mind games with the fan base and let us speculate. And that's what they've done amazingly with this whole storyline. All right, it's not going to be Sammy. Who, I had a graphic with Seth Rollins on it for this show tonight, for Saturday's show. Wow, wrong. And so good job for them on this one. Overall, go ahead, Anthony.
I have one thing we've seen, and I haven't talked about Bronson Reed a lot, but we've seen a lot of things Bronson Reed has done destructively over the past couple of months. Do you see Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami from the top of the cage?
Let's go.
On to Sami Zayn, yes, or Jimmy Uso.
Or Jimmy
they just splat. They just a ginger splat on the canvas.
Poor Jimmy. Yeah, no, I think so. Why not? I think Sammy might try and pull a moonsault from the top. We expect Io to jump off the top. She seems to love it. Kyrie likes to fly. Is Kyrie in it?
No, Io is in it, but Io likes to fly from the top.
Io's the one with the bonsai with the trash bin on her and everything. I could see now, more likely, I guess lesser of two evils. Tsunami off the top of the cage, or Jacob Fatu moonsault off the top of the cage.
I want to see both. I can't choose.
Yeah.
I think if Jacob hits a moonsault, Jay's eating it, because like that's some shit of like if I'm myself up, I'm myself up on a star.
The only way I think they let Jacob do it is if everybody catches him. Like all the guys are in the ring and Jacob comes down on the crowd.
Just does like 27 moonsaults off the cage. What is he, fucking Teddy Hart?
What? Take out the whole
you say he's doing all the moonsaults off the cage.
Oh, Jesus. You've had too much turkey, sir.
I told you, Chicken Hayes, I'll lip on brain.
No, I mean, like, because you don't want to risk anything too bad. You have you let him crowd surf it.
Oh, I got you. I thought you were saying he was going to do individual. Like, you get a moonsault.
I was like, wait a minute. No, that don't work.
I was like, I'd be getting nauseous after that.
61% are taking the OG bloodline.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, let's go. I'm telling you, I think they get the Bloodline 2.0 got their win at Crown Jewel. OG Bloodline gets their win here, and this is, I think, when you get the reveal of it was me, Austin. It was me all along, and you get Dwayne comes out as the puppet master. We already had him show up at Bad Blood, and he did the weird little throat slit, and all three y'all get it, like Birdman and everything. So I think, and now you mentioned especially Heyman being his voice. Fits really fucking well into that puzzle. Though.
Well, if you want to make sure that you turn that Rock villain right up to where he plays
11.
Right, the boss. I really do think, these go up to 11.
Right.
I do think that Heyman is the guy to do it because it's that ultimate betrayal. We just popped for your name, bro, and you're gonna do us like this. Like that's where the fans are offended. at how dare you do this to us.
I loved you. You wasn't instead fucking Anakin and Obi. You were the chosen one.
Right? Like, what the hell, bro? Breaking our heart. So,
right?
I mean, again, if you really want to dial in, now, the last thing I guess I'll say about it is, if The Rock is going to have that moment at Survivor Series, I think that moment works best on a 2.0 win. That's why I think, this is Return of the Jedi. It's not going to end happy.
Nah. I think you can do it because you get them. You have that moment. You have right there, like you said, we have this joyous moment. And even imagine if Heyman's there and he's celebrating and then he just cracks a smile. That seems out of place or whatever. And then if you smell, it'd be really interesting. Like, I don't know. You could be right, but I just think you get the OG bloodline here. Then you set it up I still think there's the potential Roman wins the Royal Rumble or is at least in the finals of it. So, yeah.
Well, so if Roman runs the Royal Rumble, who does he challenge? Because you guys just said earlier that Cody was
going for the People's Championship.
He's not winning the Rumble, bro.
He challenges for the People's Championship.
The Rumble.
I've won all the belts. I need the People's title.
The Rumble could have like Roman, The Rock, Cena, Randy. Like, that's just off the top of the dome. Like, literally, it could be one of the most insane Royal Rumbles ever with active people. Like, not bringing in, like, they'll have a couple of the, the nostalgia pops, but legitimately, Cena could win. Roman could, like, again, like, Rumble this year is insane.
We've gotten closer and closer and further from that whole, of the easy predictable of, all right, it's going to be at least like these two guys.
Yep.
That person's probably going to win it. We could rattle off 10 people. Mm-hmm. None of them could even be in the final four for all we know.
Right. Yeah, man, I think the good part about all this, based on my conversation with both of you and the chat, is there's a good level of excitement for WWE to get to Vancouver and kick this one off. So that's the good news.
You were talking about reactions and everything. If Damian Priest wins this match, I think 100% this is going to be all the reactions. This is just viral moment after viral moment, I think, in this match. This is literally voices are going to be hoarse by the end of this.
And remember, this is like Survivor Series was the debut of Taker. I mean, if they could talk him into the building, who knows, right?
He chokes Dwayne out one more time.
One more time. Like, this man won't leave me alone.
It's just the AJ Styles meme with Taker popping up behind him, except it's Dwayne.
Right. Well, what we're going to do now, that is Survivor Series, folks. We're going to transition real quick, and we're going to kind of quickly rapid fire through the turning point ones. We're not going to go into the deep analysis like we just did with Survivor Series. But just to give you an idea of what we're going to be watching tomorrow, Nick, myself, and Anthony will throw out our picks. Nick is going to lead the way with the matches.
So first is a pre-show match. It's a three-way match. Rosemary versus Zaya Brookside versus Savannah Evans. No Wendy Spooky Dookie Choo. That partnership has gone by the wayside.
It went to sleep.
Right. Yeah, it ended the week after Bound for Glory, I think.
They put it to bed.
Yeah.
Fucking needs to stay asleep, bitch. But so who we got?
Yeah, so who are you picking, Anthony?
This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm taking Savannah Evans.
Really?
I'm taking Savannah Evans only because of what they've been trying to do with her and build her as a strong knockout in the division. Okay. She also attacked Lei Yang. I never can pronounce her name. So
Xia Li.
She also attacked Xia Li a couple of weeks ago. So I'm taking Savannah Evans, but if Rosemary wins, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Rosemary would be nice. I'm going to take Zaya Brookside for the surprise.
Oh, we're going to go straight. We're going to literally pick everybody different, 100%. But I'm right there a bit with Anthony of I'm going with this one, though, with my heart instead of my head, of Rosemary gets the win with this, of she's the vet, she's the established knockout and everything. And I always got love for Rosemary. I will never pick against her. Unlike you, KJ, with Jody Threat, and you hate Canadian.
But I heard the Hardys in TNA with no contract. That was the rumor from it. They were on like an appearance per appearance deal.
Yeah, they were. Now they have signed a 1-year contract. So yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So so we're each taking someone different on the first match. What do you got next?
Nick Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards. And I'm going by Wikipedia, so I don't even think this will be the match order because this is for the world title. I don't think they started off with that. But yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. I would say Nick Nemeth. I don't even really know how Eddie Edwards got this shot, to be honest. I'm gonna just be honest there. I know Nick Nemeth is kind of feuding with the system, but I haven't really seen much of Eddie Edwards. So I don't know how we really got to this match. I think they're just trying to get through this pay-per-view to get to final resolution.
Yeah, it feels that way. Dolph's taking this one.
I agree Dolph is winning, and I was almost going to ask if, what if say his name and he appears, intervenes in this, and then I realized, no, he's in a match later on, so I'm like, some bitch.
Yeah.
I do think JBL is going to interfere. They did a backstage segment earlier on Twitter where Gia Miller was about to interview, I forgot who it was, and JBL walked past her and walked into, I think it was Nick Nemeth's dressing room. So JBL's gonna be there, I'm sure.
Can we just all give a round of applause for JBL from literally doing the biggest pivot from being like literally a despicable heel? You hear all these backstage stories of like Blue Meanie and him got into a fucking fight and everything to now like he's the baby face of everyone's just waiting up. JBL, show up and clothesline this man, please. Like maybe he shows up at Survivor Series and clotheslines Solo Sikoa, and that's how they win.
Right.
But yeah, Nick Nemeth wins this. I thought maybe we could have gotten a Joe Hendry interference, what have yous, but he's wrestling later on, and I do agree. JBL interfering just fits the bucket with that. I do think that he's, whether it's in TNA, whether it's across just wrestling as a whole, he's starting a little faction a bit.
Right. I don't know what he's doing. He just shows up like he gets paid.
Does what the fuck he wants.
Yeah, right.
Right.
JBL wants to clothesline the Rizzler. There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, again, I don't know how Eddie got here, and Dolph might not need help to beat Eddie.
Right.
Eddie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although I do think that's hilarious if I saw JBL's comment with, and it's Jeff Jarrett posting with the Rizzler, and he's like, if Jeff Jarrett doesn't clothesline that kid, I will. And then again, Wikipedia's gonna probably have this in reverse order, but Masha Slamovich versus Jordan Grace, 2 out of 3 falls for the TNA Knockouts World Championship.
Easily Masha.
Bye, Jordan.
Yeah. But I do want to touch on that, the by Jordan thing.
Okay.
So TNA has this thing like WWE does with WWE 24, where they kind of go over 2 wrestlers going into a big match. So they call it Immerse. And at the end of Immerse, Jordan Grace actually said she doesn't know what she's doing after. And it was clear as day. She said, the fans think they know what I'm doing. The fans think they have an idea of where I'm going. But honestly, I don't know where I'm going after.
Or the AEW. Start the rumor now.
So that was kind of interesting. That kind of put my antennas up for a minute and like, are you technically staying with TNA? Do you want to stay with TNA? Are you going to WWE? But it was kind of interesting to have her vividly say that on that documentary.
Oh yeah, that's a little bait on the hook there. Yeah. You think you're special? Oh, you yeah, no, 100%. I think it's all but confirmed, respectfully, that she's going to WWE. Now we've even had the discussion: does she start in NXT? Does she jump to the main roster? Like her being the surprise entrant, and I can't remember even quite. It was
10 women.
What was it recently with NXT? Halloween Havoc and everything around there, to where she was the surprise entrant.
Yeah.
What?
The 10-woman tag.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what show for NXT was at. But that to me, I think, really threw the fucking anchor out there of she's just hitching her wagon over to WWE. We're just slowly transitioning. Masha, though, is still like, this is no discredit to Masha. Masha's still a fucking tank and is still one of the top women wrestlers out there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think Jordan would be wise and the company would be wise to say things like, I don't know what my future holds because you're still kind of currently there. Masha just got this belt. It took forever for Masha to wiggle this away from Jordan. I don't think Jordan beats her. I think this solidifies Masha as the new face of the Knockouts division.
Absolutely.
And then again, and like we said a million times, until they walk through one of the curtains somewhere, we don't believe anything. We've seen all the stories go wrong and the misquoting.
The machine guns,
right? So it definitely feels like Jordan is close to the WWE, but who knows? You never know.
Right. Anthony, how do you feel about this comment, real quick? Of Jordan Grace in TNA is essentially a big fish in a fish tank.
I know from watching Impact TNA that there was one thing Jordan Grace said about 2 years ago where she wanted to win every title in TNA, including the world title that Nick Nemeth is holding. And I know a lot of people say, what else is there for her to do? That is something for her to do if she decided to stick around. As a TNA guy, I would love Jordan Grace to stick around. But if she wants to go, as long as it's not AEW, I am fine wherever she decides to land because I'm going to follow her career wherever she goes.
100%. I'd be really nervous. And again, we see the relationship. It would shock the world if she changed directions and followed Camille. So
that's bad. That's really, really bad. If she went that way, it would be, oh, you're great for 2 weeks and then I forget about you. Yeah, no, I think she's got a perfect spot lined up. She slides right into this new NXT women's division that has just fucking boomed. But and to Anthony's point though, of if she does want to be world champion, conquer every title that there is in a company, TNA is honestly right now the only spot where she could viably win the world title. No other promotion is going to offer that chance.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, AEW, I would consider it if I was them. But anyway, that's
Jordan Grace versus John Moxley. Let's go, in strap in match.
Hey, after the shit they put me through last night, I'd be happy if Jordan showed up and beat somebody up.
Right.
Jesus Christ, you know the men in the company can't do it. But
so do we want to? So I guess we're all taking Masha here.
Yes.
Do we want to pick the falls? Do we go clean sweep, 2 straight falls, 1 fall, 1 fall, 1 fall, or what?
2-1.
Yeah. Easily 2-1.
And then fitting with today being Thursday of all the days, we have a 6-way Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match, and it's not brought to you by the NFL. Whoever gets pinned or submitted must wear a turkey suit, a la famously AJ Styles. But Joe Hendry versus Eric Young versus Hammerstone versus Brian Myers versus PCO versus John Schuyler. Who I guess the question is, who do you have putting on the turkey suit, and probably why is it John Schuyler? Because I've never heard of this man before.
Isn't Schuyler one of the good hands? Is that what he is?
One of the good hands.
Oh, thank you.
I was guessing, Nick, so don't feel so bad. Can you say those names again? No, I'm just fucking with you.
All right, come on. Joe Hendry, Eric Young, Hammerstone, Brian Myers, PCO, John Schuyler.
Yeah, Anthony.
I think it's Joe Hendry. I think Joe Hendry's winning.
Well, I was asking who's losing, so that's why I had the reaction initially because I was like,
that's
is Joe Hendry
Brian
putting on
Myers.
the turkey suit?
Yeah, that's easily Brian Myers. I think Brian Myers is going to put on the turkey suit.
We don't see PCO in the turkey suit, though. It might be funny.
Right.
Joe.
Turkey. Just tears it off.
All right. Joe, I think Joe needs a big win on a show like this. Continue, trying to keep his momentum as we figure out what the fuck is happening. Yeah. Brian Myers is a good one.
Yeah, I think Brian Myers is going to wear the suit.
That's the thing. I feel like with this match, it doesn't matter who wins. It matters just who loses because you got to put on the turkey suit.
Right.
Yeah, it's between Brian Myers and John Schuyler of when I can't click on you from Wikipedia to have a fucking profile about your page, I think you might be the fucking jobber, the boo-boo, the jobber face showing up in this match.
Right? Well, you know, an age-old TNA tradition of the turkey suit. So let's go.
Right. Still, I always just picture AJ Styles in it and just kind of owning it. That's why I halfway lost my mind when Anthony said Joe Henry, because I was like, "You think this man's gonna wear a turkey suit?" Because he would own the shit out of it. By the way,
Right?
I believe in turkey.
Yeah, make a turkey music video for sure.
Exactly, he would.
Right.
He'd have one lined up in case he lost.
Right. What's next?
We need a turducken. No, we're not John Madden, but we have a 6-man tag match of the Hardys and Ace Austin, the unofficial Hardy member, versus the Rascals and Kushida.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I think this is probably going to be match of the night besides Jordan Grace and Masha. I think the Hardys just took a loss last week. The Hardys and Ace Austin took a loss last week to Hammerstone, Trent Seven, and I forgot the other tag team partner.
Something, wasn't it?
Yes, Jake something. Yeah. So I'm going with the Hardys and Ace Austin to win. I know Kushida and the Rascals came out to save them after the aftermatch attack, beat down, whatever you want to say. So I'm going with the Hardys and Ace Austin.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because Jake and Hammerstone, like as a tag team, Hammer something, as their team name works.
What
really
is
well.
Tool Time? The spinoff of Tool Time? Hammer something.
Right, but yeah, the Hardys are going to win. I'm not worried about the Hardys.
Yeah, they just signed a new contract. Hardys win this.
Right.
Congratulations. You just signed on to stay with TNA, so you get the win.
Right.
Still think it'll be a good match. Now, Anthony, I'm curious. Did you watch NXT? Did you see the new Wesley of he no longer looks like a rascal. He looks more like, you know, he's at Eddie Bauer and everything.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to go to school with some books under his arm. He took off the
Right.
dreads, the locks. I was kind of surprised, which is very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Wesley, kind of down the line here.
Yeah.
Why isn't it during interpretive dance moves? Because I gotta just let it out.
Do you ever think, like, I mean, was his thought like it'll make me look older and more mature, more professional? I mean, it was interesting to see him, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So next match, Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin, no disqualification. I feel like we've seen this quite a bit, whether it be through TNA, whether it be through Wrestling Revolver, House of Glory. Feel like this is a solid match that we've seen quite a few times, but I like it every time.
Yeah, if Steve Macklin doesn't win, I'm a scream. He needs this. He's lost to Josh Alexander in TNA world twice. Like, he needs this. And they've been doing these video packages of him, which have been very interesting. Like, the first video package was him taking his bags away, packing up and leaving. And then the second video package is like the mental war he's having in his mind with trusting Eric Young and being by himself, right? So I think this needs to be Steve Macklin.
What weird, like the vignettes where like he's getting interrogated by EY and shit.
Right.
Like what is happening? But Macklin needs this, and rumors are Josh is about to, take a swim out into the pond himself. So kind of similar to Jordan, I think this could be the passing of the torch. Macklin's been unreal for TNA.
Oh yeah, Macklin has been such an unsung MVP for TNA. He's the poster child to me for somebody. Everybody uses Cardona. Macklin to me is a guy that got released from WWE and then ends up reinventing himself, establishing himself as a top guy and everything. But I'm with you there to where Josh Alexander is going the way of Jordan Grace, probably not going to be there too much longer. So I'm going out looking at the Lights tour.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I think so. Is that it?
No, we still have Frankie Kazarian versus Mike Santana. Like I said, if I think Wikipedia did their match order in reverse order,
easily Mike Santana. I know Frankie Kazarian he's holding that cup. He can cash in anytime. But the things they've been doing with Mike Santana, if you watch the TNA reviews, I can't shut up about Mike Santana. Right. So I want Mike Santana to win, but I'm gonna take Frankie Kazarian.
I thought I was gonna take Frankie again. I'm gonna go Frankie. I love Mike.
What is wrong with both of you? Is this fucking? Is this the thing right now? Like, am I Kurt Russell? I had to figure out which one of you is fucking real, which one's the imposter and shit like that. Right. You're about to take
I feel like if you have Frankie lose and he's still holding that, money in the bank type contract, I'm like, I don't think it would make sense.
Christian Cage.
But he could win by cheating, which would still make Mike Santana look stronger if he wins by cheating.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I just don't trust Kazarian. This has been weird with Kazarian.
Well, really going back then, I guess, to the first match on the main card that I mentioned of Nick Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards. So we assume that I'm assuming this match will happen before the other match. Yeah. Could Santana get the win here and then say Kazarian cash in that match?
No, I don't like that. What I think is Kazarian cheats to beat Santana. He could cash in the main event, and then Mike Santana has a reason to fight for the TNA title because Kazarian has it, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, okay. No one wants Kazarian, period. But yeah,
Rick Boogs, where's Boogs? I think he retired.
No, he's out there probably doing Old Spice commercials still. I'm taking Mike Santana, so I guess I'm an outlier again with a few of these matches. I felt like these were obvious choices, and apparently I was the only one that thought they were obvious.
Yeah. No, they've been doing something with Frankie. Whether I like it or not, that's just
they've been doing it. Right.
They've been doing it. I think Mike should win, but I'm watching Frankie. I don't know what to tell you. It's been odd. Even him being the special guest referee during the Joe Hendry match, right? And we haven't really got a payoff of we haven't had much with Joe and Frankie since. I don't know what's gonna happen, man.
I'm gonna keep picking against them and everything, and keep picking against Kazarian until they realize what they're doing is wrong and they shouldn't be doing it. That's what it is. I'm gonna take Santana with this one. I'm gonna keep picking until they realize they done up Aaron.
Mm-hmm. I thought Anthony was gonna pick Santana for sure.
He's out there with the whole lead-in of how Santana is so great, and then just curveball high and inside, right against the dome piece. I gotta walk to first base.
Right.
And then last match of the evening, Moose versus Laredo Kid for the TNA X Division. Again, I don't think that's going to be the actual match order, but that's the way Wikipedia's got it lined up.
Easily Moose. I think Moose is taking this. Yeah, if you don't take Moose, why?
Yeah,
I think it's Moose.
Laredo Kid's not beating Moose.
Right. I think the only thing I'm upset with this match, I don't think it should have been Laredo Kid. I think it should have been Leon Slater. I feel like Leon Slater was the better choice here. Laredo Kid, I don't even think is really signed with TNA, but I know Leon Slater is. And they had that whole match last week, and Leon Slater actually was the one that gained the victory by pinning JDC. So I feel like Leon Slater should have got this match against Moose, not Laredo Kid. But it's going to be a great match regardless.
I think it's a slam dunk Moose wins this, but
right.
I want to click on this one of this man setting up everything of that we're going to be out here covering, but I want to get your opinion on this from B Hockey. TNA remains persona non grata. Omelette du fromage over their insulting decisions not to give Joe his due as champ.
B Hockey been holding a grudge.
That's his personal opinion. I feel like they're doing fine. I've had my stuff with B Hockey. I don't want to go back to it, but I feel like they're doing a fine job with Joe Hendry, and he's going to eventually hold that title. It could be Genesis, it could be the next pay-per-view next in February, where I think they're trying to do something big. I'm sticking with Joe Hendry is fine where he is at the moment. The crowd has not let up. If you watch every week, they are screaming his name. They're still cheering for him. It's all in TNA's time.
Right.
Is Joe Hendry the LA Knight of TNA, of the guy you always think is going to win the thing, but doesn't win the thing, but is still over, like Rover?
But eventually he wins the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is not one but two previews real quick here on the channel. As I mentioned earlier, tonight we will be back for SmackDown tomorrow, plus Turning Point, plus Rampage, plus Survivor Series on Saturday, 5 p.m. And then we got another busy week ahead as we head towards more pay-per-views, more fun stuff, including Deadline with the Iron Survivor matches. But all your favorite wrestling, don't forget Anthony's TNA reviews, as they are the best out there. Nobody covers TNA the way Anthony does, so go give that some love. And yeah, keep coming back. We just hit a milestone. We want more. Follow all our socials. Be friends. Have fun. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Anthony, any thoughts?
No thoughts. I'm super excited for Survivor Series. I think it's going to be great. I'm going to scream my head off. There's going to be a lot of great moments at Survivor Series, so I'm looking forward to it.
Get your popcorn, get your tickets, get your tea, 100%, because we're going into Survivor Series, and it's about to be contending, my guy.
Right.
Our shit is real, our shit is raw, our shit is all authentic. When you're talking about that rest, you able to put that for life with it.
Come back tomorrow night, folks. We'll see you on the flip side. Good night.